Southern Oregon Sports Talk with Matt Bagley. Talking local sports. Weekdays 4 to 6 p.m. on 96.1 580 The Game.
Hey everybody, Matt Bagley back with you. Southern Oregon Sports Talk presented by Medford BMW. I am live at South Medford Abbey's tonight, 1080 South Riverside. I'm going to have some pizza. I'm going to have some beer maybe after. I do not drink while I work, but I can't pass up a pint of Hop Valley Double Stash. I might jump on that a little bit later. My favorite IPA. I'm going to have a lot of fun here tonight. South Medford Abbey's. I'm on the air here till 6, and I've got 2 pairs of Beaver football tickets to give away on the show. I want Beaver Fan to show up. I got a headset for Beaver Fan, and I want to hear your favorite Oregon State football memory. You grew up a fan of this team. Maybe you cheered them on when they smoked my Fighting Irish in the Fiesta Bowl and made little Matt Bagley cry. I don't know, but maybe that's your memory. Maybe it's when they beat the Ducks in the Civil War. Maybe it's when they hired Jonathan Smith and brought the prodigal son back home. I just want to hear what it is. Big game against Cal Poly this weekend. I'm going to give you tickets to it. Just show up. Tell me your favorite memory watching Oregon State Beaver football. But that's a conversation for a few minutes. This is the conversation right now. I've got the new co-owner and coach and GM and maybe a little bit of everything. Maybe he's, cleaning the stalls after the game. Maybe he's, making sure the players all have their itineraries lined up. He's doing everything. Dylan Martin, Southern Oregon Spartans owner and everything. My guest on Southern Oregon Sports Talk. Your story blows me away, man. I didn't even know. Coach, owner, GM, what don't you do there?
Well, it's a lot, right? But I'm very, very, lucky to have a business partner in this, which is my wife. She's superwoman right now. She's running the front office and doing everything as far as the clerical work of everything, and I can really focus on being a hockey coach. I do have an assistant coach. Unfortunately, he couldn't be with us tonight, but he's really pulling his weight. He's really helping me out on the recruiting side, as far as, the equipment ordering and all that logistical stuff. He's going to be handling that throughout the season. So I'm lucky that I can just, kind of focus on being a hockey coach right now. And my wife handles the sponsorships, and my assistant coach handles the other front office stuff.
Hockey season right around the corner as you guys get ready to break ice in October. I want to talk about that, but I also just got to learn more about your story because I hear that Wisconsin accent breaking through. Tell me about yourself. Where have you traveled? Where have you worked? And how did you work your craft to end up in Southern Oregon?
It's been a long journey. Like you said, I grew up in a small town in Wisconsin. Much smaller than Medford, actually. One stoplight, 5,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah, I grew up playing hockey. After high school, I joined the junior hockey ranks. Played all over with that. Committed to Robert Morris University in Chicago. Played 4 years there. After I graduated, I served as a graduate assistant while I was obtaining my master's degree. After that, I moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico, coached college hockey down there. Then ended up moving to Indiana, coached junior hockey there, and then now I'm over here, and I'm fortunate enough to own co-own the Spartans, and as well as head coach and general manager.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
It's a lot of travel.
Sounds like it, man.
This profession, if you're not ready to travel, who knows?
So how long have you been in Medford?
I've been here about 3 months. Right after the sale was announced, I think it took me about 5 days to get out here. Basically, I got half my stuff here. my wife's still going back and forth, and we're wrapping stuff up in Albuquerque. But yeah, the town is great. I mean, I couldn't imagine being in this situation in a town other than Medford. The community support that I've had already has been unbelievable. And I just, the Spartans are here to stay. And I really want to make this into a very, very special entity in this town.
When I was introducing you earlier, last segment, I shared a story that I was on the air with probably one of my best friends in local media, Brian Schnee from KTVL News 10. Yep. And he's a diehard Spartans fan. Yeah. Goes to the games, cares about it, because he's an East Coast guy. Yeah, Hockey matters to him a lot more. And Brian was crushed. We were on the air doing the Facebook thing, and he sees it pop up on Facebook that the Spartans are gone.
Yep.
And I thought he was going to cry on the air.
Yep.
That's how much it really mattered to him. You step in, you fill that void now. You buy the team, you save the team. What do you see about hockey in Southern Oregon?
Well, there's a terrific footprint here. There's a terrific foundation, if you will. I walked into a great fan base, a great sponsorship base. All that's great, but now it's about taking it to the next level. I'm doing this full time. Same thing with my wife and my assistant coach. There's room to grow in this organization, and I think Spartan fans can really be excited about that hockey is staying here for a long time,
right?
And also that it's going to a new level. The professionalism of the organization is going to continue, and we're just going to offer a slightly better product.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah,
Good entertainment. Sounds exactly like
Sure.
what I would hear my buddy Dave May in the Roads say
Dave
about
May,
baseball.
that's my boy.
So I got to talk a little hockey with you.
Sure.
You guys break ice late October.
Yep.
And you were talking about recruiting and coaching. What excites you on the rink this year?
Well, we're bringing in a good group of guys this year. I've been all over the country this summer. I've been to Vegas twice. I've been to Boston. I've been to Michigan. I've been to Chicago. I've been to Denver. So I've seen over 1,000 hockey players play this summer.
That's incredible.
So, yeah. So I'm really excited about the group that I'm bringing in this year. We should be competitive right off the bat. I think our goal right away is playoffs. You make the playoffs, and you saw it in the NHL this year. A last place team made the playoffs and ended up winning the Stanley Cup.
That's the most amazing thing in the world.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Only in hockey can
only
anybody win the championship.
Absolutely. And that's what makes hockey special. I really believe that for sure.
Right.
It's kind of predetermined. I don't want to talk too bad about other sports, but it's almost predetermined in basketball and in football and all that. But that's the beauty of the sport. Any team can win at any night.
Yeah. Yeah, and you mentioned St. Louis. I've got family back there.
Oh, okay.
My sister and my brother-in-law are in the Air Force, and they're stationed like 15 minutes from St. Louis.
Okay.
They're not sports fans, and I will hold on to this until we all die, which will be a long time from now.
Yeah.
I swore, I said, Shar, Devin, Mel, you guys all got to go to the Blues championship parade.
Oh, yeah.
It was like Game 7's coming up. They're going to win Game 7. They're going to have this parade.
Yeah.
It's going to be a memory for a lifetime. They skipped that on the parade.
Really?
They didn't even go.
When I was in college in Chicago is when the Blackhawks won 2 cups, and I went to both their parades. It was unbelievable. I mean, I think there was 2 million people there or something like that. It was incredible.
Something you'll carry with you for the rest of your life.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
So, got to talk fandom too.
Yeah.
You're a Wisconsin guy, but you went to school in Chicago. Was that tough for you, being around a bunch of Bears fans?
Yeah, that was unbelievably tough. I mean, but, I was lucky that the Bears at that time were pretty bad. And so I didn't get, chirped too much about being from Wisconsin and stuff. But there's definitely a huge rivalry between, just Illinois and Wisconsin in general. You take out, NFL football.
Right.
It's just the two states don't really line up too well. But, yeah, it was an interesting time in my life there for sure.
Chatting with Dylan Martin. He's the new co-owner, him and his wife, owning the Southern Oregon Spartans, saving that club, keeping it in Southern Oregon, and hopefully giving us some sweet hockey to watch next month. I want to talk about your opener, some of the promos you're doing, but still just getting to know more about you, the person. Rodgers or Favre?
Oh, boy. Well, Rodgers.
Okay.
Rodgers. It has to be, right? I mean, what's your opinion on that?
I don't know. I mean, that's why I'm going to the source. Is I have, on one hand, you got the gunslinger, Favre.
Yeah.
He's kind of crazy, kind of like a mad scientist, but sometimes the concoction works, right?
Yeah.
And then you got a guy like Rodgers that maybe I'm partial to it. I've got family in the Chico area where he was born and raised.
Sure.
There's just some like Northern California cowboy to him that makes him really fascinating.
Yeah. And do you think he'll win another one?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Really?
I love the Packer way. I'm a Raider fan, so you guys are kindred spirits with Ron Wolf and those guys from back in the day, building the right way.
Yeah.
I don't think Aaron's got enough talent around him.
Yeah, around him, absolutely. I mean, I'm pulling for. I think he deserves one more. You know, we've had a couple down seasons last year. I don't even want to talk about last year, but I mean, he's a generational quarterback, don't you think?
Right.
I mean, I hold him right next to Tom Brady. You know, what do you think about that?
I agree.
You agree?
Makes
Okay.
every throw.
Great. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. He just, Nelson, not having Nelson's really going to hurt us.
Yeah.
Those two, I loved watching those two play together. That was just magic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, coach's favorite right there, Jordy Nelson. Southern Oregon Sports Talk, broadcasting live from Abby's Pizza, south side of town, 1080 South Riverside. I got at least one chipper, cheery fan here with me. We're going to have some fun with that guy in a couple minutes. Dylan Martin, he's the co-owner of the Southern Oregon Spartans. He's my guest right now. One more thing, just general life, and then hockey. What's been the biggest adjustment for you living in Medford?
The biggest adjustment, I guess it's all positive, right? So, like, I lived in Chicago, and then I lived in Albuquerque, and it's a much bigger city, the traffic and everything that goes around. So I guess the biggest adjustment, which is my house is 10 minutes away from my work.
That's great.
And there's no traffic
gosh.
along the way. So that's
Right.
the biggest adjustment, In Chicago, you can't get anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, in 10 minutes, unless it's right around the corner. So,
You probably won't like Seattle if you ever visit.
well, yeah, we're going up to Seattle this year, so it's gonna be tough for sure. Yeah.
I went up to a Mariners game with my lady a couple months back,
Sure.
and I was floored. I'd never been up there. I had no idea.
Yeah.
It takes 3 hours to get from one half of Seattle to the other.
Yeah.
Traffic is abysmal.
Yeah, and that's another reason why we purchased this was we knew it was a smaller community, and that's what I'm after. I don't want to live in a big city or anything like that. And my wife, growing up in Albuquerque, she still has here in Medford her Starbucks and her Target and all the big brands, but it's still a small community.
Everything's
which is
here.
great. Yeah, everything's here, exactly. But it's still a small town, which is great.
Everything's here, but you get that small town passion, that small town pride, and hopefully in October everybody gets to come out for some hockey. Yeah. Tell the fans listening, tell the people here at Abby's and anybody driving around in their cars listening to this right now, what are you most looking forward to from a fan's perspective when you start playing games next month?
Well, just a competitive atmosphere, a competitive team, a team that's going to go out there every night and compete. The players that I'm bringing in junior hockey, it's really tough to compete every night, but I do bring the best out of my players. And I expect them to compete every practice, every game, what have you. You should really be excited for the guys that I'm bringing in from all over the world. I have a young man from Israel coming in.
Wow.
I have a young man from Turkey that's coming in. A lot of Western Canadians, and then kids scattered across the whole country. So it's going to be a very solid club, but a very diverse club.
God's people playing hockey,
Yeah.
man. I light up hearing that. It blows me away. Dylan Martin, co-owner with his wife, co-owners of the Southern Oregon Spartans Hockey Club here in the Rogue Valley. They play their home games at the rink, right?
Yeah, with 3 R's.
3 R's, south side of Medford. I know you've been. I can't count all the field trips and all the fun I had there when I was a kid. My sister learning how to skate. That's a great place out there. Check out those home games next month. When's the first night of the year?
Our home opener is October 18th.
October 18th, okay.
Yep.
Southern Oregon Spartans hockey coming back to the Valley October 18th. Dylan Martin will be doing everything that night. Coach, GM, owner. You might have to run popcorn or concessions or help somebody get beer to their seats. I don't know. You're going to be a busy guy. Dylan, love having you on, and I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
All right. Let's go back to college football. Beavs fans, I want to give you a chance to win Oregon State football tickets. Just come here to Abby's, 1080 South Riverside, and tell me your favorite Oregon State football memory. Might be the Fiesta Bowl win over my Fighting Irish. Might be Jonathan Smith coming back as a head man for the Orange and Black. Might be Ken Simonton running ring shot over the Duck defense in the Civil War. I know you got one. Your favorite Oregon State football memory. Pop on the air with me. I got a headset for you, and you get to share your thoughts with the world and win a pair of Beaver football tickets for Saturday's big game against Cal Poly. That's right here, 1080 South Riverside, South Medford Abbeys in Medford. And I'm going to wrap up hour one talking college football. I think this is a do or die game for Jonathan Smith. I think if he loses this game, he gets fired. And I'll tell you why next on Southern Oregon Sports Talk, presented by Medford BMW on 96.1 580 The Game.